Hey, Warrior Saints, happy Friday. As we wrap up Valentine's week, we're, of course, going to take this opportunity to talk about love. Father Chris talked yesterday about the way of the cross, the life of the cross. We've been talking about this all week as the response, the way through, the way out of, the way to fight against the you do you mentality. St. Paul tells us something very phenomenal in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And we all know this phrase, starting with verse 4, going on to 5. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It makes us feel nice to know what love is about. We see it in people's houses on these nice little embroidered tapestries. We hear it read at weddings often that are, obviously not at Orthodox weddings, but sometimes it will get quoted in best man and maid of honor speeches as this reminder. But what we don't ever hear is the first part of that. St. Paul says in verse 1, if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. The love that St. Paul is talking about is something that without it, our words just become like the words of everyone else. And I think personally, that's precisely why we have the problems that we have in the world today. Everyone is hearing everyone talk all the time, but there is no love behind it. And you might be asking yourself, what's love got to do with it?
I was just asking that question, by the way.
I knew you would. You might also be asking yourself, what is love? We hear this all the time. All of these questions in these music songs all over the place. The reality is the love that we need so that we don't just become another noisy gong is the love of the cross. The love in which we are willing to give of ourselves completely for the sake of other. And when we focus only on the you do you mentality, then we will never be able to avoid hurting our baby. We will never be able to avoid not getting through that. We're always going to be causing pain. Because if our love is not self-sacrificial, if our love is not modeled after the love that Christ shows us, the way of the cross that Christ gives for us, lays out for us, then our words are like a banging gong, a noisy cymbal. They are devoid of any power, and they are devoid of doing anything. Because at the end of the day, people see through it. And they know that we are just doing it so that we can get what we need. So that we are doing things in a way that will just feed that you do you mentality. So that I can get what I want, when I want it, how I want it. So my challenge to you as we wrap up this week talking about the Tower of Babel, talking about how we often replace God with ourselves. Find ways to ensure that you do everything that you do with that self-sacrificial love that comes from a place that is fueled, infused, and is completely guided by following the way that God has given for us, the way of the warrior saint. And if you don't know how to do it, then you need to visit warriorsaints.org right now and get yourself on the way of the warrior saint. Sign up for our library where we've got a ton of videos that talk to us about how we can do this, how we can implement these things into our lives every single day with simple, easy, practical steps that we can take so that we ensure that we are living our lives in a way that is completely saturated with love, with the way of the cross, the way of the warrior saint. Have a wonderful weekend. We will be back with Divine Liturgy and Orthros at 9 and 10 Mountain Standard Time respectively. And until we see you next Monday for our Crucifixional live streams, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.